Speaking of extras, and one of the really good guys in this room, beloved by every one of his teammates, some news coming today here in Minnesota as Dylan McIlrath signing a 2-year contract extension, 2 years with a total of 1.6. That's 800 grand per season. I know he hasn't played a whole lot, but T, as he's out here this morning at the morning skate getting ready for the Wild tonight, you're not going to find a better guy as an extra who cheers on his teammates. If he gets in there, if you need some toughness, you got it. He has certainly filled his role very, very well.
He has, and you nailed it there, John. Being a good teammate is what being the number 7 defenseman is all about in this league. He's only played 11 games this year. He's only played 20 games for the Caps over the last 3 years. He's been a full timer here in Washington. You can just tell the guys are comfortable with him. They like him a lot. Good on him for getting this one-way deal done. Now, from a technical standpoint, functional standpoint. It's below the Barry threshold. So if they had to make room next year for any reason, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, you can put that whole $800,000 and Dylan in Hershey, and it won't hurt the Capitals cap. He'll just be able to buy a lot of chocolate over there in Hershey. But look, I think he has proven himself at his age that he's just the perfect number 7 defenseman. And you know what? When you need a tough guy, you need someone to come in and make Matt Rimpey think twice. And you don't want Tom Wilson to have to deal with that noise. You put Dylan in the lineup, right? I think it's just a really good situation for the player and for the team. And I'm going to make a joke here, and I would make this to Dylan if he was right in front of me. They play this game at the end of the scratch skate where they kind of shoot at the crossbar, and he hits it a lot and he wins it a lot. And one day I said, "How are you so good at that?" He looked at me, he said, "A lot of practice, man."
Well, that is what he has here. But you know what? He was playing earlier in the year. And at some point, when you look at this depth chart, T, and what you're going to need in the playoffs, it has been remarkable that tonight's 60 games that you have had this entire 6 together, all of them north of 20 points. But it would be foolish to think that that's going to continue into a deep playoff run. And you're going to need Alex Alexeyev. You're going to need Dylan McIlrath. And you may need to dip down into Hershey, too, because defense is certainly a very difficult thing. Guys get banged up. Guys block a shot wrong, and something goes sideways. So to be able to have not only Dylan, but Alex Alexeyev in the wings, and we would expect, and Spencer Carberry has said this, they want to get some playing time for those guys down the stretch here too. So maybe you got a back-to-back coming up next week, Boston, Carolina. Maybe there's a place that you might see that streak come to an end just because you want to be able to get some work in.
I think one of those two are going to get in, if not both. You definitely don't want to go into the playoffs with your 2 spare Ds having not played in weeks, if not months. So I do think it's incumbent upon the coaching staff to just find a place. It's not an easy conversation to have with a defenseman who's a veteran and who's playing well, a group that's playing well. But you might have to say, look, one of you guys is going to have to take a seat here so we can get either McIlrath or Alexeyev in. It's not something where it's not because of you. This is to protect the team. Remember last year in the Rangers series, John, they were down to their 9th or 10th defenseman in terms of organizational depth at one point. And that was a short playoff run. Imagine if you go 2-3 rounds or you go all the way. Most teams would like to have 9, 10, if not 11 defensemen going into the playoffs that they know they can count on.
Yeah, I want to be able to have enough, and nice to have Dylan McIlrath back in the fold.